Hi folks, Anders here and welcome back to the Longhouse. It's been a while since I've done the last video, but I thought I'd do one because I got picked up something interesting. Story time. Was at a car boot sale, as you do, yesterday, and it was massive. I thought it was going to be tiny, but it was huge. I did like 7,500 steps, which was very impressive. And bought nothing really. I've just wandered around. The only thing I picked up the whole time was my Parkside battery for a tenner, which is charged and works, so happy days. The 2 amp hour ones are normally about 20 quid, so bargain. And then I was on the last row. Sorry about the cough, I have tonsillitis, so don't worry, you won't get infected. So yeah, car boot, last row, pretty much one of the last stalls, and there was a guy, he'd got loads and loads of Amazon return stuff, and he'd got some, well, the first thing that caught my eye is he'd got a resin printer, 3D resin printer, which I know nothing about. So I had a look at it, and the guy wanted 50 quid for it. I thought, well, that's a very, very good price for a resin printer, but I know nothing about these things. I have had a 3D printer, can't remember what brand it was. I gave it to my daughter, she uses it all the time, she loves it. But yeah, and then he got some, well, I'll show you, I'll just show you. Look, these guys. So these are Elegoo Neptune 4 3D printers. Yeah, and I looked at them. Well, I looked at one. He'd got one in a box, just all loose, not assembled. I've built these since. I'll post some photos now somewhere, so you can see them in the boxes. Yeah, and he wanted, I think he wanted £30 for one. Well, he'd only got one out, so he got £30 for a normal filament 3D printer. So I looked at it, I was like, yeah, not really sure, I don't really know a huge amount about these. Messaged a mate, and he said 30 quid, it's worth a punt. If, you know, it doesn't work, then you can, you know, get replacement parts from easily enough. So I ummed and ahed. I was going back to the car, I was like, yeah, I don't know. And then I thought, do you know what, I'll take a punt on it. So I went back to the guy, had a look at it. And then I noticed the one, the hot something or other, I can't remember the name of it. Hot end. The hot end on all the printer that it got out was cooked, completely cooked. I'll post a picture of that here somewhere as well. Yeah, it was, yeah. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, oh, well, you can have it for 20 quid. Then I was like, yeah, but this is cooked. You know, if I buy this, it is not going to work as is. You know, bear in mind, Amazon return, so yeah. And he was like, well, I've got another one in the van. So he brings out another box, and inside it was an identical printer. Another Elegoo Neptune 4, but not the Pro, which is standard ones. And he was like, you can have this one for 30 quid. And I was like, yeah, but blah, 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 blah. And so I ummed and ahed, and I was like, right. I only got 30 quid on me. Because I'd been around the car bit, I only took like £40 when they spent a tenner on a battery. So I'd only got 30 quid left. I was like, oh, I don't know. And he said, well, what kind of price would you pay? I said, look, I know nothing about these. The other one that he bought out in the box looked in better condition. Looked actually quite brand new. I said, I don't know anything about these. I said, mate said they're a good price. I said, but, I said, if my risk is I'm going to buy these, they could both be completely scrap. And, you know, you've got to haggle at car boot sales. You've got to do the hustle and the barter. And eventually, after a bit of and ahhing, he said, like, oh, you can have a both for 40. He's like, and I checked my wallet. I was like, I have 30 quid in my wallet. I said, I will take both of them for 30 quid or not. And he said, yeah. So, ta-da. So now I have two Neptune 4 3D printers. If I switch, there we go. So this is the better condition one which I assembled. Ignore that, it's cool. I'm doing another video about those in a minute. So yeah, that's the one. That one all powers up absolutely fine. The hot end appears to be all right. It doesn't even look used. It's got a bit of a wobble. It's got a wobble on the table at the moment, but the bed's a bit wobbly, so I've got to adjust the thingy bolts on it. Yeah, so that one is assembled, powers on. Seems to, the bed heat ups, the filament heats ups, temperature's coming up to thing. I just don't have any filament at the moment. And then here, this is the other one, which I have assembled, and it appears to power on. Oh yeah, I'll show you the actual hot end that came off it. So this is the one that's come off. I've ordered a new one there, 20 quid off Amazon. But as you can see, that is a bit cooked. This is the plastic that was surrounding it. So yeah. So yeah, the hot end wasn't even attached. Nothing was attached. The whole thing was in pieces. I've had to reassemble the frame for that. Had to reassemble the guide rail there. That was all off. Yeah. So, but yeah. So it powers on, but it'll come up with an error in a moment. See, fan's kicking in already. Yeah. So it comes up with this error here. Blah 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 blah. So yeah, but I figured out that, hang on, if I just put you down for a second, if I just turn it off again, plug in the very, very broken hot end, and just plug in the temperature sensor, which is the white wire there, and plug that into there, and then switch it on, it appears to work. So, just give it a second to boot up. Yeah, so, but I've had a review look at these. The Neptune 4s, they're currently on sale from Elegoo for £180 on sale at the moment. Let me switch my camera back, hang on. There. Yeah, so £180 each at the moment on Elegoo. For a Black Friday thing, but I think they're normally like 280, something like that. So for 15 quid each, if I can get even one of them working, then happy days. Yeah, so that is now all come on. So let's switch. And if I go to, I think it's prepare, it's got a nice little touchscreen. No, not that one. Prepare, and you can move. If I shift it to 10mm, it moves. That one moves. Z-axis moves. So yeah, so that one seems to be doing stuff. This one again, I've kind of tested, and seems to be all okay. Apart from it's just got that wobbly bed, I've just got to sort out. So 15 quid each for 2 3D printers. Again, I can't remember the one I used to have. It was a Creately something or other. I bought it off a car boot sale. I tried it, it worked, but I never really used it. And so my daughter said, "Hey Dad, you've got a 3D printer, can I borrow it?" Yep, no problem. So she's borrowed that with all the filament and stuff as well. So I've got to pop to hers later to pick up some filament and wait for the new hot end to arrive for that guy, and then I can test them. So this is kind of like the first part of this video. It's all going to be one video, but basically, can I get 2 3D printers that cost me £15 each off the car boot sale working? I don't know. So yeah, so the next bit you'll see hopefully will be me trying to connect the hot end of this guy. Let us unplug it again. Oh yeah, computer thing. So yeah, so I'm waiting for one of those, which is coming by Amazon today. Yeah, but the great thing is one of them did come with all sorts of extra little gubbins. It's come with like some USB cards, extra little screws. This one here was brand new. The only thing it had got was it was a wobble on there, so the eccentric nuts needed to be adjusted. It's got a wobble on the bed there, which I need to adjust. But this one, I think, touch wood, where's some wood? Wood. This one should work, and then the other one, if I replace the hot end, should work as well. So we'll see. I'll see you in a bit once I've got the new hot end and I've got some filament. Right, so quick update. I've now got some filament, and I've got some filament loaded on there. But this one, which is the one that hasn't got the damaged head, had quite a wobble on the base, like a lot of a wobble. I tried to adjust those little eccentric nuts. No matter what I was doing, nothing. So what I've done is I've taken the bed off, and then I've just tightened all of these here, just quarter half turn each, and no wobble on the bed. It's still got plenty of movement there, and I can still adjust there if I need to. So let's get put that back together, and then we can level it and give it a try. Right, so one base, no wobble, moves nicely there. That's all reconnected underneath. So yeah, just a few tightens on that, and now I've got that nice and sorted. Put the top back on. Right, now onto calibrating. Ah, there's a moth. Fuck off, fuck off. Language. Go away, go away. Jeez, big moth. Go away, go away, go away. Look at it, beast. Anyway, yeah, right, let's get it calibrated and give it a test. Let's do a benchy. See you soon. Okay, so I've now got it all set up, and I've done the manual levelling with the little twisty guys there and the piece of paper thingy like it tells you. I'm following a very useful tutorial on YouTube by Just Vlad, which is a basic start guide to the whole machine, which is excellent. And yeah, so it's just, I've done the manual bit, and now it's doing its automatic levelling thing. But so far, 3D printer number 1 looks like it might work, and for 15 quid I really can't complain. So let's run it through all of this calibration stuff, and then we'll get testing and printing it. Right, so it's just started doing its auto levelling thing. So what it does is it'll go down to there, and then it will go and do 36 points all the way across. Like that. You can see it changes colour on there once it's done. And then maybe, hopefully it's ready to print, but we'll see. And the moment of truth. There was a little benchy that was already provided on the USB that came with. So you are watching this live, and I have no clue what it's going to do. It's spitting out something. It's doing something. Definitely doing something. Right, let's leave that going. You're done in 22 minutes, but my god, that's ridiculously fast. I don't think my other laser 3D printer was ever as nippy as this. And no, it's lifted the whole thing and so on. Okay, let's stop it and we'll start it and try again. Stop. Well, round 2, put some Pritt stick on the bed, and it's working. And it's ridiculously fast. Let's turn the flashlight off. There we go. 20 minutes to go to do a benchy, and so far it's working. So, printer number 1, that costs 15 quid, off the carboot, but need a little bit of tweaking here and there, is working. That's amazing. So next is printer number 2 down there, which I need to reassemble and put the new hot end on. But I think that is a project for tomorrow. I will, let this run through, and then I'll show you the finished little benchy in a bit. See you soon. This is exciting. 15 quid for a Elegoo Neptune 4 3D printer off the car boot sale. Amazing. Well, it's done. There is a little benchy. Is it rough around the edges? Yes. But it means the £15 Elegoo Neptune 3D printer works. I'm well chuffed with that. That is amazing. Look at it. Look at the little guy. I mean, yeah, it's got some imperfections in it. And it did it at a ridiculously fast speed. It was doing it at like 500 speed, which apparently you should only do like 200 or something like that. I don't know. But 3D printer number 1, which cost £15, works. And then tomorrow we'll get that guy done, which will have cost more than £15 because I've had to order the new hot end. So it will have technically cost me, I think it was £15 for the part, so it would have cost me £30, so £45 in total for 2 potentially working 3D printers. So yeah, I'll leave it now, and then I'll catch up with you in a bit, and there'll be a jump cut to tomorrow, and we'll try the other one. See you in a bit. Okay, so it's next day, and now we are working on machine number 2. This is the one that had the very, very disgusting hot end in. There's some remnants of it. And where's the actual thing? I'm not sure. Yeah, so I have now fitted the new hot end, and that is screwed in. So it's now a matter of reattaching that to that. Now, I'm watching that video at the moment on how to replace all of this. It's an okay video, but it keeps skipping parts, and I wasn't sure what screws went where, because the problem I have is all of these were loose in the box. Obviously these are tips, but yeah, so I need to figure out where all of those guys go onto there and onto there. So I'm not going to do a how-to or anything like that, because this is not a how-to, this is me trying to figure out if I can get them working. So once I've got it back on, I will be back and we'll see where we go from there. Right, so moment of truth, it is all reassembled. Oh no, it's not. So there's one thing I am missing. I am missing this guy. It kind of does need a data cable, I would think. Clip you open that, pop you into that, nice little clunk, and then these guys just cheap. You're supposed to squeeze it so it pops into there. Right, there we are. Now, moment of truth. We have power. Just for quickness, I'm just using it. This was the plate that was on it. It is filthy. It needs a proper clean with some IPA. But just for quickness, this is the one that I used yesterday on the first printer, which is currently down there. And there is Mr. Stinky. Say hello. Yes. Mr. Stinky needs a haircut. He's supposed to be going today, but he's going in tomorrow instead. Well, so far, system is currently in standby. Please wait. As long as it gets past there, brilliant. It's got past there, which means that the temperature sensor and everything in there is all connected properly. Yeah, I still have quite a few random screws. I can't see where they would be. I've followed instructions on how to reassemble it all, so I can just assume that they're just spares from somewhere, possibly. This little pipey thing is a spare one. I replaced that with the one that came with a new hot end. So yeah, right, so I'm going to get some filament connected into it, feed it through, we'll get it levelled, and we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. Okay, so everything is all connected. It is now doing the levelling, the auto levelling thing. I've done all the manual adjustments with a piece of paper and stuff. Interestingly, this has got 121 points of levelling, whereas the other one only had 30 something. I'm not sure if this is something different in the firmware or something like that, or maybe it's a different model. I mean, it still says Neptune 4, so I don't think it's a Plus or a Pro or anything, but I don't know. We'll wait for it to run through that and see what happens next. Okay, so it's done all its calibration thing, so the next step is, we're just using the memory stick from the other one. This one didn't come with a memory stick, so we'll go to print, we'll go to model, we'll go to a benchy, we'll go PLA test, wait for it to load. Come on, should come up on the screen. Maybe not. Not sure why it's doing this. Let's try again. Ah, there we are. Right, confirm. And wait for it to do this, and let's see if this hothead actually works. Hot end rather. So it's just got to warm up to temperature. So we'll leave it going and we'll see what happens in a minute. Well, the fan's very, very loud, as you can probably hear. It's not the best because I'm using a clear filament, but it's feeding through and seems to be doing something. So, yeah. Right, so it seems to be doing something. I'm using a clear filament on it, so probably not the best for a first test, but it's what I've got. But yeah, so far printer number 2 seems to be working, so that is another £15 Elegoo Neptune 4 printer off the carboot, and it's working, which is quite exciting. Obviously this one cost a bit more because I had to buy a replacement hot end for it, which was £16 off Amazon, so this one's cost me £31, so £46 total for 2 Elegoo Neptune 4 3D printers. I'm quite excited. We'll let this run through, I'll report back, and see you in a bit. Hello. Who's a little stinky pup? Who's a little stinky puppy? Yes, you are. You're going to have your hair cut tomorrow? Yes. Right. Anyway. Here we go. One benchy. and it did it in 25 minutes with preheat and stuff. So it's ta-da! Look at that. Awesome. So let's turn you around and flip the camera to me. So the answer to the question of will the two £15 Elegoo Neptune 4 3D printers that I bought off the carboot work? And the answer is yes. Obviously slightly more than £15 because I had to buy a new hot end for this guy. Got £46 in total for two Elegoo Neptune 4 printers. Absolute bargain. And I've made little guys like that. So here's the two benches of both printers. And I did a little footer thing as well yesterday, just using some of the test files. Now the fun begins of me actually learning how to actually use these things and use the software properly, because I've dabbled in the past. I had a Creately Ender 3v2 which I gave to my daughter. I wasn't that interested, but I think now is probably about the time for me to learn how to use 3D printers, since I have two of them. So yeah, that's exciting. Very exciting. Wonder what the guys got next week. Might get some more bargains, we'll see. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Like this video, comment and stuff. Again, I'm not doing this as a tutorial on how to repair these things. I have no clue what I am doing. I have just winged it. But I've winged it successfully and they both worked, so I am super happy. This is not some sort of boasty thing, it's just that, you know, I thought it would make an interesting video as to whether I could get them working. It could have ended up a complete disaster and I could have ended up spending 30 quid on a piece of scrap, or I might have been able to cobble one together out of the two, but it turns out I've got two working, so super happy. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. More videos are coming soon. I'm going to be doing one in a couple of days, how I built my new wooden frame for my Sculpt Fun laser engraver with ventilation, stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I've got some more ideas for projects. I think I'm going to do some how-to videos using the laser engraver, because that's where my expertise lies. Again, if you follow me on Facebook and Instagram, Anders Crafts, you'll see all the makes that I've been doing and interesting things like these little guys, all sorts of lovely wooden things. Here, that's just got to trim the edges. That is my own illustration. I'm not using AI, I'm not using stock images. I mean, for that was, but most of the time I do my own digital illustration, and they come out like that with lovely grain on them. This is on some really nice teak which needs to be cut and stained. Yeah, so yeah, more videos to come, I think. I finally got back into the groove of getting back into the workshop and doing stuff. It's been a tough couple of months for me. Health problems as always, but you know, well, such is life. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Ta-ra for now.